Nice. All right, welcome to episode 3 of the Have We Made It Yet podcast.
Hell yeah.
My name is Josh Yang.
And I'm Lucas Singh.
And at the top, I always ask the same question. Lucas, have you made it yet?
No, not yet, but some things are in the works and there's momentum.
Ooh, exciting.
Josh, have you made it yet?
Well, you know what? I don't think I've made it yet, but I'm getting a little closer. Taking that one step closer.
Is this the bread crumble trail that we're going to do for this whole podcast?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Every journey begins with a step. I really wish I didn't go into an idiom. That sounds so cliche. We should have better content than that.
It's okay. It's only episode 3.
It's only episode 3. But, you know, last Friday.
Hell yeah.
Kind of big one. Because we both just had some recent stuff happen that we feel like, you know, is something worth progressing through with their career.
Yeah.
But last Friday, I did do my Fresh Rice kind of Chinese New Year showcase at the CBC Glenn Gould studio. 300 plus people.
Damn.
And Lucas was there, and I think it was an absolute success in my opinion. But it was chef.
Cook.
It was chef. And yeah, it was good. But like Lucas, why are you dressed so fancy?
Nice throw.
Yeah.
I just had a pretty big audition for a pretty cool film. I can't go into too much of a detail about it, but it is one that I really, really do want to get. And the audition just happened, and for the first time, I felt really prepared going into this audition.
Yeah.
I actually, of course, you're always nervous because you always want to make sure you're going to do well and you prepare yourself. But I went in there with a solid game plan of what I want to do. I was still nervous, but I executed it to how I wanted it to be done, and I left no regrets on the floor there. So it's all in the casting director's hands now, but we'll see where it takes us.
Oh, that's great. That sounds great. Like, because you messaged me about this literally just earlier today, saying we might have to push the scheduling on this a little back, maybe a couple hours, because you were doing the audition. But okay, so because this seems like it's something that you know. We're just coming off of it. Can you like go into more detail about like how this started? Because it's a quick turnaround, you said?
Yeah. Good point. So auditions usually are for anything with feature films or TV shows or everything like that. You only get 24 hours to do it. So my audition today was at 4:30 today. So yesterday at 4:30 p.m. yesterday, I got the email from my agent saying, you have an audition at this date and at this time. Please confirm that you've received this email. So I read the breakdown, and I'm like, holy shit, this is actually like a pretty big role and a pretty big film.
Yeah.
So, of course, I hurriedly just said, I'm in for it.
Got to take them. Got to take those chances.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah. And then I quickly found out that because this is a pretty big role, that she also quickly, right after I replied to my agent, she said, I highly recommend that you do get some audition prep, a coaching session done right before you go into the audition. So yesterday I quickly emailed off to a bunch of different audition coaches to see if they have any availability for this morning. Right. Luckily, I did find one from a studio that I'm well acquainted with and everything, and we went through the whole process. But of course, before you go into that coaching session, make sure you do your homework. Yeah. Make sure you know the scenes. Make sure you know your lines, of course. But also make sure you already have that character built in your head. Right. So the coach is not just giving you things. You also have your own input, and the coach can work and massage whatever points he or she thinks needs massaging. Yeah, because it'll take them time to figure it out. And like if you're paying them money for a specific amount of time, you want to get the most out of it. Yeah. But like you told me that like you were trying to look for the right coaching session, coaching person to do this, and like you kind of went a little out of the ordinary to try and get some advice there. Dude, you have good point. Yeah. So I because like I'm still trying to grow that community within Toronto for the acting stuff and all that. Absolutely. So I'm not going to drop names with this or anything like that.
Yeah. We're keeping it professional.
Yeah.
Keeping it professional.
But mind you, the person that I DM'd on Instagram, he does not follow me. But of course, I follow him because he's a huge inspiration to me.
Yeah.
If you don't know his name yet, you will know his name.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I quickly DM'd him the same list that my agent gave me for the coaches.
Yeah.
This is on Instagram too. So I just said, hey, you're a huge inspiration to me. I know that, of course, you had your similar path too. So from this list of coaches, is there any that you'd recommend? And the guy
graciously
DM'd me back saying, this person, you should go with this person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap. And that's when I realized that if I'm ever in that capacity to be that big one day, you always hear of people who just, throw away their old childhood friends and everything like that, and like don't really give a shit about their own community after.
Yeah.
But if I ever get to that point, and I'm sure you're like this way too, give back, man. I mean, it probably took him nothing to respond to me.
Yeah.
But the fact that he did, out of all the other DMs that he probably gets thousands in a day, he got me back.
Right.
And I'm hoping one day to meet the guy. Oh. And I'm hoping one day we can get him on this podcast.
Maybe. That's a lofty goal. But that would be quite a get. But of course, we're just starting. Have we made it? No. But this guy, he's very close to making it. He's very close to making it. Well, even okay. But then it'd be interesting, like how that person would view whether or not they've made it or have they not made it. But it feels like they're very close to making it, and we're not gonna name drop. Because we're keeping it professional. Yeah. But no. Okay, so you did that. You got the coach, and okay, so you were like reading through the script because from like you showed me a little bit of it. It's like it's not a lot of lines that you can go off of, but
no, for sure. And that's the whole thing. I think for auditions when you do have a lot of lines, that's actually a little bit of a crutch sometimes because it could just be a memorization exercise. But in an audition, when you don't have many lines, a lot of the acting is all in the face and how you present yourself and what you do non-verbally too.
Yeah.
So one of the main things that I did, like, I usually don't dress like this, but this is like it's not a present day sense. It's not a present day movie or anything like that. So, kind of dress old-fashioned-y and everything. Going into it, of course, you do your own prep work in terms of the actions that you're going to do and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Non-verbal, but at least the actions that you're going to do.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is that it's just, how can you separate yourself from the pack? And when I went in there, it was just all people that really looked like me.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And then you go in there and you're like, oh man, this is kind of like how the world sees me. But like, how can you separate yourself from them?
Of course.
And it felt good going into the room. It felt good leaving out. I wasn't like bashing myself saying, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
It felt like, okay, the ball's in their court now. If they like me or not, it's up to them. But I did all that I could. And that's what I felt good with.
Right. Because like when you went into it, right, like you gave me a little quick rundown beforehand, but it's like you already made an effort to separate yourself.
Yeah.
Other people in the waiting room weren't like dressed up like you were. Right?
Yeah. That's the whole thing, man. Like, and on to you, man. Like, you separated yourself from the pack in a big way on Friday.
A little bit, but
a little bit. It's an understatement.
A little bit.
Oh
but
my god.
I kind of do want to go back to the audition process because I find it interesting because like I don't have any I have an idea of like how auditions may go, but like in terms of the actual amount of time you were in there, right? And like you don't have that much lines, but like you go in, do you just only get like maybe one or two shots to do it, or are they like, do a couple shots, give you some pointers, or did you ask also questions for additional, pointers on the mentality of the character, or like just run through like how long that audition was?
It really depends on how long they're delayed.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like auditions, you get there, you're scheduled to say for 1 p.m.
Okay.
sometimes if they're really backed up, you don't get to see them until 2 p.m. Okay. And that's even them going like one after another with only one take. So in most situations that I've been to on auditions, you go up there. Okay, so first of all, of course, you're in the waiting room. You wait, you sign in and everything like that.
Yeah.
Then eventually they call you in. So you're finally in the room right now. Behind the desk is usually what I've been to is the director and the producers are there. Mm-hmm. There's a camera assistant, and then there's also a reader there.
Okay.
A reader is the person that you're going to be reading towards to.
Yeah.
So there's a mark on the carpeted floor. You walk up there, and you say your slate. Slate is usually like your name, your height, and also sometimes they want the agency too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Lucas saying 5'11".
Right.
And then your agency. So you go up there, and it's all really, really quick.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. Can you make the most of this 30 seconds that you have in there?
Yeah.
So it's usually just so fast, man. It's such a blur. So you go up there, you get your mark. The camera person is, okay, setting, and rolling, and action.
Yeah.
And hopefully you have the first line as the actor. Because if the reader has the first line, then you're on their timetable. You're on their pace.
Interesting. Right.
Yeah. So say I have the first line there. So the person says action. Take a little breath. Go into it. 2 seconds in or so. And then you go into it. Usually, if you think you really messed up, you can ask for another take. Yeah. I've never done that.
Right.
Because,
like you haven't done enough, I guess maybe done enough auditions to figure like if you did another one, maybe if you would be able to do it a different way or do it better.
Yeah. But to be honest, I don't even think that I'd be the type to really go up, because like if I really think that I messed up, the second time around, it's just going to be too much in my head anyways. And I'm already in such a high stress environment that it's like, okay, just roll with it then.
Right.
So yeah, you get your one take in there. And at the very end, wait for them to say cut before you either break character or walk out of the scene.
Right.
Quickly, just say your highs and byes.
Yeah.
And thank you for your time. And make sure you go out. One mistake that I did do in one of my earliest auditions is the casting director and also director asked me, hey, do you have any questions? And I took this as like a job interview, right?
Yeah.
Because like, they say in job interviews, they would be like, ask many questions to look like you're interested in the job.
Right, right.
So I kept on rattling off like 3 questions I really didn't even give a shit about.
Yeah.
Like, when is this shooting? It's like, duh, it's already posted on there. Oh, how big is the cast? And then when I left the room, I'm like, oh, I think I got this part.
Yeah.
But I'm sure once I close the door, they're like, why the fuck is this guy asking so many questions?
Yeah, but like kind of so then what did you find out later in terms of like when they ask you, oh, do you have any questions? Like what are they actually thinking you would ask? Are they thinking like you would ask more details on the content, on the script, or like what were they even asking you to ask?
To be honest, I think they just did it as a formality. Like the real people who have done auditions know that the whole casting agency is always late. Huh. And so they're probably just asking as a formality if they want to. But you as a seasoned actor, if you know your chops, you would just know to just say no. Yeah. And say your thank yous and get out of there ASAP.
Okay.
Because you're holding them back, man, and time is money. And, people only get 1 day to prep for an audition.
Right.
Why are you delaying everyone else?
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. So if anything, it would just be like a quick question if it's actually something you were thinking about. Yeah, but other than that, it's just like, no, you're good. Like you've shown what you can do.
Yeah.
So when you went in to when you left for today, that was like 2-3 minutes?
Literally max, I think 1 minute.
Of actual on-reel footage?
Yeah.
So they definitely recorded you?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that means this is just first round of auditions?
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't say when the callbacks would be. If there will be, I don't know. But yeah, this is the first round.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That's very interesting because I didn't realize it would be that so quick.
Yeah.
Because then it's under the... I guess it also shows an implication of whether or not you're able to get into the character like that. Like right upon, like you can go from not in the zone to in the zone. At least give an impression of being able to get through that level. Right. And then probably if there is a callback, they'll give you more lines to do, more direction, and then longer scenes, and then that's when they play it out.
Exactly.
So then that just reminds me of like phone interviews is just the first interview where they can see whether or not you're eloquent enough to just be able to communicate, effectively. And then in person, then they do more detailed stuff on that.
Absolutely, man.
Oh, that's interesting.
But even before you're in the audition room, though, your agent has already submitted you with a headshot to that casting director.
Okay.
And the casting director has probably perused through 500 headshots and cut it down to maybe 50.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out numbers, to 50. And then from the 50, that's when you get the in-person auditions.
Okay.
So even just before stepping into the room, there's a whole bunch of work that has already been done beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy. So that means is like from here, does your agent tell you like when to expect a callback, or is like it goes on their time? You have no idea if they call you back. They call you back.
Goes on their time, man. Like you only know the ones that you get. You never actually get closure on the ones that you don't get a callback for.
Right.
Until you see it on screen and it's not you.
So did they give you? So you know what the project is? They gave you like a project title, not the end title, but they just give you what the working title is.
Yeah, I mean, they gave me a title for it. I'm not sure if it's going to be the final title.
Right.
But I know the premise. I know the major characters in this thing. So fingers crossed, man. We'll see where it takes me.
Yeah. Yo, but that sounds great. That sounds good, man. Just getting those auditions, putting in the time, getting the work in. Yeah, I just keep nailing at it. Yeah,
for sure, man. Dude, I know you've been holding off on this, but man, come on, Friday?
Yeah, okay.
God damn.
All right, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Okay, so basically, on Friday, I did the Fresh Rice at CBC Studio, at Glenn Gould Studio. Not for, very, very clear that it's not for CBC, Glenn Gould Studio, because like, that's definitely something we want to make sure is clear. We don't want to, like, I've been told by the producer, like, through our social media, just to make sure not to make it seem like it's something CBC is doing, because they're not doing anything with this project. This is very much independently done by Vong Show, and so we did that. There were 2 shows that day. There was the main Rice show that had some local Asian comedians doing 20 to 25 minutes. It was Cassie Cow, Leonard Chan, Ron Jossel is the very experienced comic based out of, originally from Toronto area, and then he started doing a lot more international stuff. So he's nice. Like he's an OG from the industry, and then he came and was hosting both the shows.
Nice. So
like he really lent some really good experience and like solid comedy to keep the show running. And so it was was it Cassie Cow, Leonard Chan, Jennifer Shung, and then Vong Zhou. He also did 20 to 25 minutes, I think, for the first show. And then so all the members from the second show were there a little earlier, because we did kind of sound check and stuff at around 5. The main show the first show was at 7. So we got there early. I also wanted to get there early because I wanted to experience everything. It was the first time. Doing something like actually on a stage in like, there's a off stage area, there's a backstage area, there's like, a green room with lights and stuff. So I really wanted to try to experience as much of it as I could. Because these opportunities are like far and in between to be able to get on these type of stages by themselves. So I really wanted to enjoy the moment. So I got there early, walked around backstage and stuff. And then basically everybody else who was also on the show, we ended up, pretty much everybody was there by the time the first show started. So we were sitting in the audience as well, just to take in the first show. Right. And it was good to see from the audience's perspective. So I could get a bit of a frame of mind for when I went up. And like they had like lights, they had camera crew and everything.
Smoke machine was there too.
Yeah, there was a smoke machine. I was wondering, it's like, when I first went in, why is it so foggy and hazy? And then when the show started, I remembered Vong saying like, oh yeah, they were trying to add a little bit of that kind of atmosphere there. So there was like fog not too much fog, but it was definitely kind of noticeable.
Yeah.
So it was part of the shooting process. They had some VIP people that were there, like Kathleen Wynn was there as well.
Yeah.
And some other people. I'm not sure. I think they mentioned that Inez Choi, the guy the creator of Kim's Convenience.
Oh, the creator.
Yeah, he was invited. I'm not too sure if he went. I don't know.
Okay.
I wasn't able to see if he was there, but invited some people there. And they ran through their sets, and they're all really good.
Yeah.
So it really got us pumped for our show.
Nice.
And then when our show went on 10:30, I was second.
Yeah.
Second in the lineup, which is actually pretty good because it's not as. Because throughout the day, for my process, I usually get pretty anxious throughout the day, just like leading up to it, trying to go through, my material.
Yeah.
But at that stage, I already knew my material down, as perfectly as I could.
Nice.
So it was at that point, it was just a bit of the nerves. But so I was second, and thank goodness too, because at least at that point, the audience was still really engaged because it was still early on in the show. And then I realized later on such a long show like that, there were 8 comics. Ron Jostle did like 10 off the top, 10 in the middle because we split it because we had to change the batteries and the tapes on the cameras.
Okay.
And then Vong did 20 to 25 minutes at the end. And at that point, I think it was already like 11:40, 11:45 when Vong started doing his 20-something minutes. But me going up second, I think it was a really good spot. And I went out there and I loved it.
You fucking killed it, man.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was like in the pre-show, I went out to the stage area. Yeah. We had a bit of we had a carpet there, stage area, just to go run through the set in my head, try to get comfortable on the stage, familiarize with the setting.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it was actually smaller than I anticipated. I don't know why, I thought 300 plus seats would be bigger.
Okay.
It'd be in like a bigger room.
Right.
But then when I went in, I actually saw the room. It was smaller than I thought. And I was like, oh, okay, well then that's not as intimidating.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. I was a little bit more comfortable. And then they also lit the audience, which in essence is a little worse than if they didn't. If they didn't, then it'd just be all dark and like you can just, you can tell jokes into the ether.
Yeah.
But
and just hear.
Yeah, into the abyss. And then, but like with the, audience lit, another good thing was every time I did a joke, I could see the audience laughing.
Yeah.
Which, is encouraging and stuff. So I started off, did my set, and I enjoyed it. It was like, it was supposed to be 5 to 7 minutes. I had 5 minutes consistently, one after the other.
Yeah.
But in such a large audience, in a large studio setting, the laughs are just going to get multiplied.
Yeah.
So my 5 minutes stretched to about 6 minutes, which I think is just a perfect amount of time.
Perfect, man.
Usually, like, it's pretty good for if you want to submit it into like festival. The max date people who receive tapes are going to do like 7 minutes. So 6 minutes is just good. And it was being recorded. So I was really worried about, how I would deliver my jokes, whether or not I'd look comfortable if I would forget anything, if I forget timing. But no, I managed to get it all out the way I wanted it to. And throughout the thing, because this was a different experience, this is a different setting than the other spots or shows that I did. Other shows were much smaller. The second biggest show up until that point would have been Yuck Yucks in Vancouver that I did just like a quick 5 minutes on. And that was in preparation for this.
Right.
And that was good because it also showed me a little bit the multitude of like over 100 plus people, how their laughter would elongate some of the jokes. But then in this setting, it was like much longer than I expected. So I was trying to, get them out the way I deliver. And thankfully, the way I deliver jokes is very measured, very precise. It's because of the way I talk as well. It's natural to have longer pauses in between.
Yeah.
But before, I always kind of like, the second it got quiet, I would go right into the next joke. I would kind of rush. But this time, I really tried to lean into just, the comforts of the joke, took my time, getting the jokes out.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking throughout, like, I remember watching podcasts, watching other comedians talk. Like, some of the tips that they had was, you know, let the laugh ring. So let the laugh fill the room.
Yep.
So, like, whereas if you get a laugh and then you just quickly move on to the next joke, then you're basically cutting the audience off from fully thinking through the punchline or fully reacting to the punchline. Because sometimes you'll get laughs in waves. You'll get the initial laugh, and then people will, like, think about it more, and then there'll be, like, a second wave of laughs.
Right.
So this one I did is, like, even my one-liners, put it out there, but I waited. You know, I was comfortable on stage to let that go through and then take my time with the next joke and show that, like, you know, I'm in control.
That's the thing, though.
Jokes.
Like, I remember one of the major things is when you're comfortable as a stage performer, it's that you own that space, and part of the space is silence.
Yes.
Like, the fact that you owned it and also identified silence as a weapon to do is a really powerful thing. And dude, it sounded really smooth. It didn't sound awkward. That's the thing.
That's good.
It
That's
flowed, and it was perfect, man.
Ugh. Thank you for saying that.
No, it was really good.
So like, because you were in the audience there, like you were with the Asian crew. Shout out to the Asian crew. But yeah, no, it was also very thank you to the Asian crew, because they really showed up. They like, I think there were like 25, 26 of y'all.
Yeah, 3 rows, bro.
3 rows, and you guys were there, and I saw you guys. You were like kind of near the front, and then like at the end of the show, I wanted to point out to you guys at the end of the show just to you know, acknowledge the support. But yeah, no, you guys really, I feel the love.
We wouldn't miss it, man.
Felt the love.
Oh man, it was fun.
It was it was so like, what was your initial impression of kind of not only just my set, but also like in comparison to the rest of the show?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not just saying this because you're a good friend and everything, but top 2, man.
Yeah.
Top 2. It was, you were, oh man, I don't want to say this without, like, you know, having to lambaste other people or anything, but like you were head and shoulders above. Kind of felt like it.
Oh, okay.
In terms of just your joke delivery, owning that space, and also just the quality of material. It sounded like the 5 minutes, nothing was off the cuff. Like, everything was rehearsed and everything like that.
Right.
But it did not sound rehearsed in the way that it sounded artificial. It still felt like I was seeing a new 5 minutes, although I have heard majority of that before.
Yeah.
But I was hearing also the laughs from different people, too, within the audience, and not just the section that we had our friends in. They were hearty laughs, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Like, you can kind of hear sometimes the difference between, like, your friends laughing versus, like, a stranger objectionably laughing at a good joke.
Yeah.
And there were a lot more people who I did not know, that I don't think you knew, too, were laughing, too.
Yeah.
And dude, I was so proud of you, man. We were so proud of you.
Yeah.
Like, seeing you up there, man. That's a hint of something that's going to come up in the future.
It was a completely different experience. It felt like, as I stood on the stage in the pre-show, it felt like this is more like it.
Nice.
Like, you know, doing the small shows and even getting to comedy clubs, there's a feeling there where it's like, okay, this is what it feels like to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
But this is the first time doing it on a stage setting with lights, with a large audience, and like being able to hear a mass of laughter.
Yeah.
And with like the waves of laughter, it really changes the dynamics of the environment when you're doing the set. Like there was this one moment, I think halfway through my set, right, where I do like a joke, where I do like the GPS joke, right, where I just go like, I get into a position, and then I say, it's like, in the next position, turn right, and I do a move, and that joke got like a huge laugh, which I was like, I wasn't really necessarily expecting it at first, because when I did it before, it was always kind of, okay, it got a decent laugh, and then, you know, when I do the next bit, then it gets another laugh. Sometimes it doesn't really get a laugh. But this time it was like the audience really connected with that joke.
Right.
So I was in that awkward position, because it was like, part of it was me crouching down, like, you know, faking like I'm in, you know, the position for sex.
Yeah.
And then I do is like in the next position, turn right. and then the audience started laughing for what seemed like 5-6 minutes. It was
a long
solid
time, man.
6 minutes. No, 5-6 seconds. I wasn't in that position for 5-6 minutes, but like, I don't know, but that would be average. For me.
Another sex joke on a sex joke?
Yeah. Wow. Anyways. Okay. It's longer than that. But okay. Anyways. So basically it felt like it was much longer than it was. So then I knew in that moment that like, you know, what would you do in that moment? Right. And I remembered a great tip that I heard from Seinfeld. I'm pretty sure it was Seinfeld who said it. Yeah, there he is. Always looking out for me. And I wasn't too sure. What is it? No, he said in it was either Comedians in Cars, wasn't too sure, or it was like maybe some other kind of interview where it's like a comedian asked him, right, you know, what to do in moments when you're on a set, large audience, that they're like clapping or they're laughing longer than usual. And what he said, and I remember very clearly, is that like no matter what the audience does, if it's like a large applause break, if they're laughing longer than you weren't expecting, just stay in the bit.
Awesome.
So you stay in the joke, in the mentality of the joke. You don't, you know, break out of it so that like you're kind of just, you suddenly lost concentration, then you can't really get into the mentality, the mind of the joke for the next one, because like you're enjoying the applause or whatever. So like don't do that. Just stay within the world of the joke. So that once they've, you know, got out all of their emotions, got out all their laughter, then you just go right into the next joke. So nice. I was basically on the stage in a crouched position, like I was fake having sex for like 6 seconds. And I was like kind of bouncing a little bit because I figured it's like if I was just there like a robot, just like not just like in that position and people were laughing, like it may look a little weird on camera. So I did a little, like, you know, that thing in video games where like you have your characters walking around and when they do nothing, they just kind of, they kind of just bounce a little, like they're breathing a little, a little exaggeration. So I thought like, okay, if I'm in that position, maybe I keep doing that a bit just to try and make sure that there's some movement on stage, you know, so that there's some kind of dynamism or whatever on stage. So then once it died down a bit, then I moved right into the next joke, got a laugh, moved into the other joke, and just kept going. So I was really happy with how I felt doing it, and then how I felt after. I just felt like the things I knew that I needed to do and experience in that moment, I managed to execute it. And the fact that it was all recorded and hopefully really good quality. Like I'm going to be meeting up with Bong and the other performers kind of next week, just kind of celebratory dinner. Nice. And like,
where are you guys going?
I don't know. We're kind of deciding that right now.
Mandarin. I recommend the Mandarin.
Really? Wait, isn't that like a really white, like westernized version
it's
of
the best Chinese buffet with the most authentic egg foo young you can ever have?
Actually, okay, fair. I mean, I haven't been.
Put it up there.
Yeah, I haven't been. But like we're deciding that, and then afterwards we're gonna watch the raw footage of our performances, and then, you know, after the raw footage, hopefully it'll be edited and then released around May.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I really want to see what that set would look like. It was like the best set of my life in front of the largest audience of my life, and I want to see how it looks like, if it can look like the same production quality as like, you know, Just for Laughs or even other kind of like professional sets. I'd be like, mwah, just cooking. I'd be cooking.
Chef kiss that, man.
Yeah, just mwah, chef. Anyways. But yeah, so that was that's pretty much that experience. And then it was nice. Afterwards like it was nice to share with everybody there, getting your, you know, immediate reactions to it. And
low key though, I kind of saw you talking to some new fans there, man. How'd that feel?
A little bit, yeah, because there was that one person. I think it was that one. There was the one girl who came up and said it is like, because she was at both shows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think from what she told me
from earlier that night.
Yeah. Because so then she said is like I was one of her favorites for both shows, and that was very nice. That was very nice to hear.
Yeah.
And I think she was friends with like Faye or like somebody. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think so. I think I remember her saying that. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, it was nice. It was like I kind of got a sense walking through the crowd as well. It's like, oh, people kind of,
you feel those eyes on
people,
you. Hey?
Do people, see me as like, oh, is that monotone guy? Is that monotone guy who's funny and monotone and a robot? But yeah, all in all, it was great. As
a friend, again, I probably said this earlier. Hopefully, it's still in the original cut. But yeah, we were so fucking proud of you, man. Dude, I know, of course, we were going to laugh no matter what.
Well,
I mean,
all right, okay. No, whoa, I don't want that pandering. I want to earn those laughs even though, to be fair, you guys saw most of it. Like, I think the only ones that you guys didn't see were the new minutes about how I don't do drugs. That was pretty much the only.
Yeah.
And I'm happy I was able to at least throw some new stuff for you guys.
For sure.
Yeah.
But just, of course, we were going to laugh. We were going to support you no matter what, because that's what friends do. But also to hear other people laugh that we did not know. Dude, that was... As much as it was good for you, too, to hear that, it felt really good for us to hear, because we have a burgeoning, talented comedian within our group, and we just got to support each other's, live craft. And we saw it with you, and it was incredible, man. Like, good work.
I was really happy you guys were able to see that. Yeah. It was one of those moments where it's like being able to share it. It was really great.
Okay, right. Cool.
So one step closer. One step closer. We'll see what happens when the thing gets released and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll blow up on the internet.
Just for laughs, man.
No. I can't say that. I can't say it's just for laughs. But that would be nice. But I can't. I shouldn't say it because I'm still very early.
True.
I'm still very early. I want to put in my dues.
Yeah.
Don't take anything for granted.
It's funny you say that.
Stay humble.
Because Bobby Lee just got Just for Laughs last year.
Right.
And he's been in the game for 20 years, man.
But I feel like Bobby Lee explained kind of his journey that way as well.
Yeah,
and it's just he was, you know what, I also was probably, somebody who also kind of put him in pigeonholed him in a little bit of the Mad TV, character that he was. But Tiger Belly, it was such a great vehicle for him to showcase who more so who he was, but also more of just his talent and how he brings something that I don't think I've ever seen anybody else bring.
I know, just the manic energy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then just the pure, no wall, nothing hidden. He's just pure out there is so refreshing and just unique to see.
For sure.
So it definitely, watching Tiger Belly definitely also changed my perspective on
Watch Tiger Belly, guys.
Yeah, watch Tiger Belly.
Oh my God. Should we cut off for a break?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, let's do that. All right, so we're back, and so we were talking a little bit about what happened to us recently, big things that happened to us. But over the weekend, there was a really big thing that happened, huge tragedy that happened that kind of that affected me, and I'm sure it affected you, and then it affected an untold number of people around the world. In that Kobe Bryant died on Sunday, a couple days ago from when we were recording this. In a helicopter crash that took the lives of 9 people in total, including his daughter Gianni.
Yeah, Gigi.
Who was 13 at the time. And it was definitely, and kind of why I wanted to bring him up is because he was such a unique figure in what he represented, that I feel in terms of artists, he represented a similar drive that you have to have.
Yeah, true. Okay.
In order to push into, have we made it yet?
Yeah.
The concept of have we made it yet? The only way you can get there is by putting in the work Kobe did. His Mamba mentality of always wanting to be a better version of yourself, doing everything you can. And it feels I think it's a little different because in basketball or in sports, putting it all out there mixed in with your talent, you can get better and better.
Yeah.
And then to some degree, people have different ceilings in their talent, their abilities. But I guess even though for say artists or comedian entertainers, actors, you can put in 100%, 110%, and then sometimes ultimately you also may not get it. You may not make it. But the important thing is, like, because him as a character was so big and so large as someone who embodied that work ethic, I think it's somebody we should at least talk to, because I had like a lot of thoughts about it, and I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, like, one of the stories that always rang true to me when I heard about him was just one of the first times that he played with Team USA, and how he was like ragging on literally all stars of that time too. He would tell them to like have practices, have shoot arounds at 4 a.m. He would always be there, you know, before the rest of the team was shooting, getting a good sweat in. But just the whole thing of really just everyone really only has like 24 hours in a day, but like what you allot to it within those hours just really speaks to what his dedication was to his craft. Of course, sports are different from entertainment, or as a creative process versus a physical process. Yeah. But just, I think the main thing that we can take away from his legacy was that if you love it, you will find a way to win. Yeah. You will just do it. And just his 60-point performance from his very last game to scoring 81 against our Raptors one time.
Crazy.
Like, man, that's the second most scoring performance in the NBA ever, I believe, other than like Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points.
Yeah, I feel like that. Who knows? Yeah, that's an insane thing, 100 points. But like, 81 points. That was a crazy game. And I think, actually, you know what? Another element of that was like he retired the way he wanted to.
Yeah, right? Yeah, good point.
Like, another thing that really stood out, and like on Sunday, it just felt like the world stopped. It just felt like after that happened, everybody that I knew, everything I saw on social media, it was all focused on not only more information of what had happened, but also like people just talking about what Kobe meant to them, sharing stories. To me, the thing that I think that really stood out to me is like, it was interesting. I never really paid much attention to Kobe Bryant. Because also I didn't really follow basketball too much in depth. But like, I remember when he played his final game and thinking, is like, wow, that is a monumental moment in basketball that he dropped 60 points. And then I remember the next day seeing on Twitter just a photo, like a black and white photo of him in his office. And like the caption was like, literally the day after he retires from an illustrious 20-year career in the NBA, he goes to his office at 6 a.m. and just starts working. Like he doesn't take a day off. Yeah. I mean, this guy just, he embodies a work ethic that is like unparalleled, and it's not just to basketball. And like,
for sure.
And then literally a year or so after that happened, a couple years after, right? Yeah. He wins the Academy Award for,
oh man, Dear Basketball?
Yeah, Dear Basketball. So you have a basketball player who is like at the epitome of physical and mental focus and physical abilities. And then you suddenly, a couple of years later, after he finishes, you suddenly have him writing a poem, which is an artistic endeavor, creative endeavor, and somehow taking that poem and turning it into an Academy Award-winning short. Yeah. And it's like just his ability to do what he wants. Like he's literally the only person I can imagine who could decide to do something, to do anything, and he would win at it. He would just be able to do it.
Yeah, like in my head, there's like one or two people in my periphery that I would know that's like that. Like George St. Pierre is one of them for me. I'm a big fight fan too. Yeah. But no, you're right. In speaking about Kobe, it's like you could put him in any type of situation. It wouldn't even be sports. You put him in a business environment, put him in even like a kitchen environment. Yeah. Without any skill set, he would, of course, take some time to learn, but he would commit to that craft.
He would commit.
And that's the whole thing. It's not really about what you do, but it's the mentality that you come into it. Yeah. And he came in to win it, whichever craft it was. And he showed it, of course, in basketball, as we all saw. But even in creative endeavors such as the one that he won an Oscar for, like, it's not easy, man. No. To actually, first of all, write something, but also pitch it, gain enough money, fundraise that, and also work with creative to actually produce what you had, which is your short.
Yeah.
No endeavor is actually a individual sport.
No.
And he showed that not only can he perfect himself, but he can also make the other people around him a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because they're already great at their craft. But it's always, can you make other people better? And that's what makes you yourself great too.
And the thing with that as well is just his ability to direct and lead.
Yeah.
It's like, it's because like not only was the whole aspect of him doing the Academy Award, it just seems so out of place, but probably if he had that idea and then he's like, okay, if I'm going to do this, like you said, the focus, he would like so many stories of people saying that if Kobe Bryant wanted to learn something, he would go and connect with the best person doing that.
Yeah.
And directly ask them for advice, to pick their mind, to interview them about the process. And he would learn from the best. And basically, because he had such an iconic career, because he has not only the aura of him as like a celebrity athlete, but also he has the resources to be able to do that. Like he can call up any person. Like nobody is out of his range, and that person would be willing to do it. Because they know who Kobe Bryant is. And they know his work ethic, and they know that he's not just going to go into an interview and like half-ass it. Like he'll actually pick your brain on it. And that's just also what I realized later on in the day, as you know, we were going through this reckoning, this realization. Was the potential. That was the thing that really made me feel sad about the whole thing. Was that his potential at 41 was going to be unbelievable. Like I was talking to my roommate about this whole thing. Just we were just like shocked about it. But like, if he wanted to, you know, like take on some kind of problem, like I was thinking, it's like, oh, if Kobe suddenly decided, I feel like I'm going to solve climate change. Like in your mind, you're just thinking, it's like he's going to do it. He's just gonna go out there, talk to the right people, and leverage his celebrity, leverage his influence, to push people in the right direction.
Right.
And like you could say all the people who are like, oh, politicians who, you know, are against climate change or whatever. But if like Kobe Bryant is in it, is in this drive, he's talked to all the best people. He knows what the best solution is. He's smart enough to be able to figure out the right ways to get things done, maybe.
For sure.
Right? Like there's no way that like somebody from like, you know, climate deniers are like an influential politician, whatever, climate denier is going to be like, oh, I'm not going to see Kobe Bryant to talk about something that he wants to talk about. Right? It's like people will just want to meet him. And it's like just thinking, because he was also doing a lot in tech. He's doing so many projects we probably don't even know about. And then it's just the potential of what could have been. That was like one of the saddest things.
And it's also like, we were talking about this briefly too, but just really humanizes him even more. You know, we're all just really fallible people. And in a second, it could all be gone. So just, you know, even though I'm not Kobe Bryant, nor my girlfriend's Kobe Bryant, nor yourself right now, but just hold on to the people that you love really closely. Because it could be all gone really quickly. But on that note, though, you had an experience.
Well, I kind of had it. I also wanted to ask you as well, because, you know, in those moments where something major happens, it's like you kind of figure, you know, where you remember where you are when you do it. So like where were you when the news broke? Because I remember it was like yesterday, maybe 2-3.
So it happened Sunday. So this is Tuesday now. So 2 days ago right now. This is going to sound so cliche, but I was just in my acting class. And my phone went off. I'm like, oh fuck, my phone went off. And I looked at my BBC News app. Kobe Bryant dead? I looked at it like this. I was sitting front row in this class too, so I'm sure like the coach saw me doing that. Then I turned to my person that was sitting beside me. I'm like, Kobe Bryant's dead. He's like, whatever, man. I'm like, okay, all right, fine.
Really? Whatever?
I'm like, well, fair enough. You know, like we're in class. We're not supposed to be like on our phones right now. But like I looked around for any like recognition from anyone that like might have got the same notification. No one. So,
no, but you know why? It's because they were actors. They're all actors. They were all like, no, I'm going to keep this emotion in.
Yep.
I'm going to take the tools that were given to me. My God-given talent.
Mamba mentality.
And then I'm just gonna not break it. I'm not gonna break character.
So I clearly did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't like let loose or anything like that, but I still had that like dreaded shock. It's like, you can't be kidding me, because it said sources by TMZ. I'm like, I'm really hoping it's actually not him. So after class, and it's of course all over Washington Post, New York Times, everything was just going all over about the details of what happened. So just utter shock for me. But how was it for you?
So for me, I wish I had a better setting, because this is it's half embarrassing and it's also going to be half offensive.
Were you in church?
No. Oh God, that's not a great segue into what I'm about to say. But okay, so basically when it happened, I was in quote unquote personal time.
Oh, taking a shit.
No, the other personal time.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So I was doing that.
Okay.
And so I was almost done.
Yeah.
And then I got like my phone, and then my phone buzzed.
Yeah.
So I was almost done, and then my phone buzzed, and I was like, oh, this is probably just a message, whatever. And then it buzzed again. Okay, and then so at that point I kind of glanced over, and then I looked at it. Then I read like Kobe Bryant, and then I read dead. Like there was more sentences and stuff, and then I didn't. I was like, so I saw that it's like, wait, I was confused because there were a lot of things going on with my body at that moment. So I was like confused in my head.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't enough blood in it, and then
yes.
So in my mind, I was like, I didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah.
So then once I realized, like, no way. And then I like looked at my phone. It's like, is this serious? And I went on Twitter. It's like, oh,
dude,
more and more.
You washed your hands though, right?
It was a different hand.
Oh, okay.
So it was
okay, good.
So I was like looking at my phone. It's like, oh no, this is real. This is real. And so obviously, like, suddenly everything just, how do I put this? Lost focus. and then I was looking at it more, but I was still kind of in the same position, and I was like, oh no. And then I figured, it's like, what do I do now? Do I stop personal time? Or do I so what do I do? It's like, what's in this moment, in this embarrassing moment that I wish like wasn't what actually happened. I just think whether or not, what should happen. And then I thought, you know what? Kobe Bryant died. What would Kobe do?
What would Kobe do?
And I thought, you know what? Kobe would...
Oh my God, you better have.
Kobe would stay focused.
Fucking right.
And he would finish strong. So...
Good fucking man.
So I finished. It was a little tough. Obviously, it was harder to do that after. But it was like, it happened middle. It was happened during the middle of it. So...
Okay, guys, we usually talk about what we usually talk about before going into an episode, but
yeah.
He had told me that he didn't want to tell me this, so he actually wants a genuine reaction.
I wanted a genuine reaction.
This is fucking unreal, man. I love this.
Yeah.
I love this, man. But, so, you finished?
So I finished.
Okay.
And then I proceeded to, how...
Did you cry?
No, hold on. You know how, like, usually when you finish personal time...
Yeah.
It's off of your schedule. It's completed. And you're like, you get a bit of a down.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like you come down off of your personal time.
Yeah.
And that was a bad down. That was oh no, Kobe Bryant died down. So that was kind of just the rest of the day. So, that's my story for where I was and what I was doing when I heard Kobe Bryant died.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So okay. My first question is: you actually scheduled that personal time in?
Well, you know me. I like numbers. No, actually, no, I didn't. Okay, I made it. I may have made it seem like no, but no, it was just.
Yeah, it's a Sunday. Whatever.
Sunday. I was bored.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it wasn't your roommate's personal time, so why not yours then?
I don't know his personal time, so he can do his personal whenever he does it.
Yeah.
But I did it during Kobe Bryant's. When he... And, okay, I say this story not to make light of what had happened. Absolutely not. But it is actually really bad that it happened that way. And I honestly wish it didn't happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm kind of like thinking it is such a awkward, shameful story to have that happen that I'm like, maybe I can like give it some time, you know. Maybe I can turn it into something like maybe into a bit later on.
You heard it here, folks. Heard it here first. This is the beginning of the Mamba bit.
Yeah. I don't know how audiences are going to respond to that.
We'll give it a month at least.
Oh, who knows? But I think as long as I'm very clear that I'm super embarrassed that happened that way. But you know,
God, I love you, man.
Mamba mentality. You gotta push through.
Are you right or left-handed?
I'll never tell.
Okay, because I was about to high five you, but I don't want to.
I said it like that. Well, I mean, let's just say I use my mouse with my right hand. Okay, I'm not gonna. All right.
Oh, I thought you said mouth.
No,
mouse.
The mouse on the. Okay, you know what? As long as we don't say what it is. So, anyways,
I love it. We good?
But yeah, I think that's good. We should probably end it on that.
All right.
But yeah, Kobe.
Yeah. You wherever you are, Kobe.
Yeah.
I play basketball a lot, so you actually meant a lot to me. So thanks for doing your thing.
You actually meant to look.
I meant to look wherever he is, you know?
Yeah. You meant a very awkward moment for me. No. But actually, he is somebody who I think I do want, now that I want to buy his book, like his Mamba Mentality book.
True.
Because like it is the way to approach it. Like I thought about how approaching comedy as well. You gotta, if it's a passion of yours, you gotta approach it.
Yep.
You know, like you gotta be the best. You gotta outwork the next person. You gotta be the best. You know, leave it all out. You know, don't, because he ended his career with no regrets because he knew he put in everything he could have.
Yeah.
And that's something that's definitely people should look up to, and that's a mentality I want to maintain moving forward. But
I like that.
Great. So I think we'll end on that.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Cool. See ya.
Bye.